What's up, everybody? It's your man's KJ the Great, dropping another edition of All Sports Media TV. First, I want to say, I hope and pray everything is great your way. Now, we about to talk about, and we talking about the sport of women's boxing. Yes, I said it, women's boxing. And we're talking about one of the young rising stars in the sport. She is none other than Skye Nicolson. She's 9 wins, no losses, no draw, 1 win by way of knockout. Not the biggest puncher, but definitely highly skilled. I think at this pace, she's gonna be a great fighter, a great champion. Now, she's a southpaw. She made her debut about 2 years ago, so she's been pretty active, for these past 2 years. Learning, um, growing as a fighter, growing her brand and growing her following, all that good stuff, man. Um, Now she fought on the undercard of Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor last November, where she got her first knockout. It's a ninth round TKO, and she retained her WBC interim featherweight title. Um, it was a good showing. It was that time that you see a good fighter, and they don't really get the knockouts, but you're like, man, we gotta see a knockout with this because we want to see her take the next step and compete with all the other great fighters out there. So she came, she did her job. Now she has her first opportunity coming up April 6th in Las Vegas. This fight was originally scheduled to be in Australia, but Las Vegas. She gets her first title shot for the WBC Featherweight title. Now, little quick history on this title. It was held recently by Amanda Serrano, but Amanda Serrano, where she's at in her career and pushing in the sport of women's boxing and learning and I mean not learning, but just wanting to grow it, she vowed to never fight for another sanctioning body that doesn't sanction her fights for 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. And the WBC president came out and stated that for safety reasons and health reasons, they will never sanction a women's fight for 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. They won't do it. They believe that it puts the women at a greater risk for, you know, brain injuries, other injuries, long term injuries. They believe all of that. But if you look at other sports like MMA, they fight 5-minute rounds, 3 rounds, or 5-minute rounds for title fights in all of MMA. So um, you don't really hear that being brought up when you talk about women's MMA and other sports. You look at you know other sports, man. They're starting to align with the men's sports. So you don't really hear all those things when it comes to women's sports unless it's boxing. Now, her opponent for this fight is Sarah Malford, Malfoud, Mahfoud, excuse me, Mahfoud. These names, somebody tell me how to say it. I know I jacked it up. She's 14 wins, 1 loss, no draw with 3 wins by way of knockout. Now, she's got championship level experience. She fought Amanda Serrano back in 2022, where she lost a unanimous decision in that fight. But since then, she has been on a 3-fight streak. She's been fighting really well. Now, in her one loss with Amanda Serrano, and I watched a few other of her other fights. Uh, uh, I watched two in which those fights were the tougher fights and the closer fights. She has just a slight tendency to where she gets in trouble, she kind of shells up and she backs up and stays on her back foot. But aside from that, she's a really good fighter. She is a little susceptible to the over right hand, which could possibly be a problem. Not I wouldn't say it's not a problem, but um, Skye Nicolson is a southpaw, so the left hand to be something for her to watch out for. But this fight again is for the WBC featherweight title. Amanda Serrano vacated that title, and she now is only unified. She has the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the Ring Magazine title. Now, this poses a challenge for Skye Nicolson, as you know, everybody wants to be undisputed at some point. There's no telling when or what Amanda Serrano is going to do after her next fight, which her last fight was canceled. So if she wants to be undisputed, she may have to play the waiting game just a little bit. But if she wants to unify, she would have to somehow convince Amanda Serrano to take the 10 round, 2 minutes, 2 minute per round fight. Now, don't get me wrong, I would be down to see him fight 3 minutes for 12 rounds because the, the fights are entertaining. The ones that I've seen so far, they've been entertaining. Amanda Serrano's fought under that, rules. It's been entertaining, so I can't knock it. And a lot of other female fighters, especially the top female fighters like Clarissa Shields, you know, she's one of them, but they've been calling for the equal treatment um of in the fight game basically. So with this fight, I do believe this will be a good challenge and a good step up in competition for Skye Nicolson, and I ultimately believe she'll win a unanimous decision in this fight. Um, I think with Sarah Mahfoud's pedigree and her level of experience, she can hold off from getting stopped in this fight. I think Skye Nicolson will get, like I said, a unanimous decision, and she'll go on to become the WBC featherweight champion. But I want to know what you guys think. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Got these shirts coming. God and grind. Make sure you keep God first when you grinding. Nobody ever stop you from shining. Peace.